Hey guys, it's Francine Simone, and I kind of have this thing in my head that I want to talk to you guys about, and it's this crossover genre between YA and adult. So guys, I know that there is another crossover genre between YA and adult, and it's called new adult, and we all categorize that as YA plus sex in college. So I'm not talking about new adult. What I'm talking about is this collection of works that seem to fall out of the YA category because they're about older teens, and generally they cover a lot of more darker topics, or a lot more violence, or have a lot more explicit sex. Now, I'm not saying that young adult can't have sex. I'm just saying that the way that the sex scene is written is a bit more adult than it is for young adult. So if you have any questions about what I'm talking about when I talk about sex and young adult, I have a video on that. But what I'm referring to right now is this kind of crossover genre. We say that there are books with crossover potential, such as Game of Thrones. Now, I have a few books here that kind of emphasize what I'm talking about. Sarah J. Maas's stories. The Throne of Glass kind of starts in YA, but it feels like it graduates into that crossover genre, especially because it gets more explicit with sex. And the experiences that the characters have aren't really reflective of teen experiences. They're more reflective of in that weird, murky stage between your 20s and when you get old. The Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, this one definitely starts out in that murky area of the crossover because Feyre is 19. She's already explored her sexuality. She's already explored what it means to be who she is. I mean, she's in a rough situation to start with, so she doesn't have a lot of questions or a lot of new experiences in life. So ACOTAR, that whole series feels very much crossover. It does not feel YA, but it does not feel adult either. We've got Leigh Bardugo's Six of Crows duology. The grittiness of the world plus the age of the characters feels very much out of YA, but only by a little bit. It definitely does not feel adult, and it's not young adult. I feel like the feel of it is very much in this murky crossover genre. I have not read Red Rising, but I do know that this is prominently placed in the adult section, yet a lot of people say that it feels very young adult when they read it. And I'm gonna go ahead and guess that this is another murky crossover. Besides the fact that they sell this as a YA crossover, it's sold to the YA market. So it tells me a lot about this book. The Nevernight Chronicles. Now guys, I don't have my original copy because I gave it to one of my cousins when I went to Orlando because you gotta spread the love. However, this is book 2 in the Nevernight Chronicles, God's Grave. And this book is very much like Hogwarts, but with lots of killing, lots of blood, and lots of explicit sex. So again, not very YA as far as new experiences and kind of a naivety to life, but also not very adult. As, you know, the characters are young, they're still fresh. We've got Queen of the Tearling, which I thought was a young adult novel, but can only find in the fantasy adult section. And of course, our beloved Victoria Schwab, who writes a lot of crossover. She even has a YA series that is very much YA, but she's also got this adult series, which feels very much YA. It's fresh, but the characters aren't that young. So there are plenty more like Game of Thrones where you have a plethora of characters. Some of them are young, some of them are older. But it very much feels like it's fresh. It's something that we can relate to, which kind of brings me to the question of what is crossover and what is happening in our community. I feel like a lot of us who grew up with Harry Potter, you know, it feels like we're not letting go of YA, but I think honestly we're creating something new. And if I'm honest, it's kind of hella cool because it's this fresh kind of take where we're merging adult and young adult, but you know, it's not that weird thing that we tried to do where it was like all college sex. It's this new kind of cool thing that we're doing in fantasy especially, where we're taking a fresh approach to adult type novels, and we're taking a fresh approach, and it's for us. For us, I guess I'm gonna say it, millennials, it's for us, those of us who are not satisfied with the adult section because it feels very old, it feels very traditional and outdated. It feels like the mass majority of the books that are published in that section just aren't for us. And I think that's okay. It's okay to admit that, and it's okay to say that. It doesn't mean that we necessarily want to stick with teen type books or YA books. It means that we're kind of creating a section of our own, and right now it's just called the crossover, but honestly, I'm kind of happy to be here. I feel like it's something real cool in the making. I mean, my huge demographics, if I'm honest, most of you guys are between the ages of 18 and 34, and there's a small percentage of you who are actually teens, and then of course who are actually older, which says a lot about us who grew up in the boom of YA and where it's going. We don't want to cross over into adult. We want to stay in this fresh place where we're creating things that are new. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty excited. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you've got any other titles that you feel are kind of like in that crossover area, and what you think about that, what you think about these titles, and if it should be an actual section, or if you just like it kind of lumped together in YA, or if you feel like we're overcrowding YA, which is a big problem that I'm seeing on Twitter. Let me know. Let's talk about it. I might make some more videos on it, because this is actually something that's really fucking interesting to me right now. Let me know what you think. This is just a quick video because that's just kind of what I wanted to say. So guys, TTYL to stop for now. Have a great day. Bye.